Tuesday, September 29th. So, just a small recap on Gideon. There was Gideon in a cave, in a wine press, threshing wheat, afraid of the Midianites coming to raid yet again. An angel of the Lord appears and calls him a mighty warrior and tells Gideon that God has chosen him to defeat the Midianites. Gideon points out that he is the least important member of the least important family of the least important tribe of Israel. But the angel says, "Don't be afraid, I will be with you." Gideon goes off to prepare a meal and the angel burns it in front of him as a sign that he truly is the angel of the Lord. And Gideon's afraid because he's seen God face to face. But the angel says, "Do not be afraid, you will not die." Now listen to this. Judges 6, beginning at verse 25. That night the Lord said to Gideon, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, the one that is 7 years old. Pull down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole standing beside it. Then build an altar to the Lord your God here on this hilltop sanctuary, laying the stones carefully. Sacrifice the bull as a burnt offering on the altar, using as fuel the wood of the Asherah pole you cut down." So Gideon took 10 of his servants and did as the Lord had commanded. But he did it at night because he was afraid of the other members of his father's household and the people of the town. Early the next morning, as the people of the town began to stir, someone discovered that the altar of Baal had been broken down and that the Asherah pole beside it had been cut down. The people said to each other, "Who did this?" Gideon wanted to be obedient, but he was afraid of what people would say, afraid of what people would think, afraid of his father's household, afraid of the people of the town. And so he was obedient, but at night, in the dark. I remember vividly going for a doctor's appointment. I was wearing a very plain grey dress, cinched in at the waist with a grey elasticated belt, and I was wearing quite a large white headscarf. And I remember the doctor saying to me, "Oh, are you religious?" And I remember to this day my reply, "No, I'm not." And the appointment went on. But that conversation has haunted me because in my head, what I was stating was, no, I'm not religious, I'm a Christian, but those are not the words I used. I simply said no. I was afraid of what he might say. I was afraid of what he might think. The truth is, many a time, people have looked at me twice because I've been wearing headscarves and headbands ever since I was 15 or 16. But that conversation stays in my mind because I didn't stand up for what I believed. It was a little thing, but it was something that I've often wondered about. Was the doctor a Christian? Could we have had a conversation? Could I have witnessed? But the truth is, in the moment, I shied away. Story goes on, verse 30. "Bring out your son," the men of the town demanded of Joash, Gideon's father. "He must die for destroying the altar of Baal and for cutting down the Asherah pole." But Joash shouted to the mob that confronted him, "Why are you defending Baal? Will you argue his case? Whoever pleads his case will be put to death by morning. If Baal truly is a god, let him defend himself and destroy the one who broke down his altar." From then on, Gideon was called Jerubbaal, which means let Baal defend himself, because he broke down Baal's altar. And so it was that Gideon's father was the one defending Gideon's actions, instead of Gideon standing up for the Lord's command, standing up for what he had been instructed to do. Gideon is still not yet convinced. And what comes next? Well, we'll see about that tomorrow. In the meantime, I ask you this: how well do you stand up for what you believe? How well are you willing to stand out from the crowd, to declare yourself a Christian when it matters? Or does someone else sometimes have to stand up for you? Take a look. Have a think. How brave are you as a Christian? How will you stand up for your faith this week? I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.